Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to our meeting, the 18th meeting of the 146th Council of the Corporation of the City of St. Thomas. A great crowd tonight. Crowd in the galleries, crowd down here. Incredible. I'm sorry we're just missing Councillor Clark tonight. Are there any disclosures of interest from any of the members? Seeing none, we'll move on to minutes.
Thank you, Your Worship. The first motion is the minutes of the meeting held on May the 4th, 2026 be confirmed. Moved by Councillor Gibson, seconded by Councillor Reimel.
Questions or comments on the minutes? Seeing none, all those in favor? Are there any opposed? That's carried. And I'm sorry, I was remiss. We have our new clerk with us tonight. We know how much conversation we got out of our old clerk all the time. We're looking for you to break a new record tonight. That'll be just fantastic. Next item.
So council will now resolve itself into the committee of the whole to deal with the following business. First committee is strategic direction and development. We have a report, Brighter Future Monthly Update, Priority Area 1, Public Safety and Community Wellbeing. A motion that reads, report CMO 3726 relating to Brighter Future Monthly Update, Priority Area 1, Public Safety and Community Wellbeing be received for information, and further that council provide feedback on this update and each monthly strategic plan progress update going forward to identify priority areas and discussion topics. Moved by Councillor Kohler, seconded by Councillor Taylor.
I'll ask for questions and comments on it. For those folks at home and watching this, each month now in the middle meeting, we're trying to have conversation and discuss the growth in our strategic plan. We know we've been being very, very successful on most of the stuff we've been planning moving ahead. And so that's where we are. And tonight is public safety and a couple of other topics. So let's questions and comments. All right, Councillor Gibson, then Councillor Reimel.
Thank you, Worship. I just like to say thank you very much for this. It was a lot of detail put in, and it's wonderful to see the numbers as to where the city is going for our future planning as well, and seeing that the work that our staff is doing is absolutely wonderful. I really liked the mental health community supports area, and I also enjoyed the reading from the CAO report, which was under the budget, and I certainly appreciate seeing those numbers and seeing how much brighter this community is becoming. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Gibson. Councillor Reimel.
Thank you. I also agree the report is great, and it's great to see such progress on all the strategic initiatives. And we're really fortunate in St. Thomas to have the Progressive Police Service with having the COPS program and the additional downtown office, because those are great examples of being close to the public and the community and letting the people know what's going on. And also the overtime cost reduction is really phenomenal to see that. And I see, fire has a nice report as well. And I'm just saying, in the fire prevention strategy, perhaps maybe we could look at in the future some partnerships with some of the schools for the secondary students that need to have the 40 hours per week. They could help maybe volunteer when they have education sessions and hand out pamphlets and things like that. We just see how busy the stores are now on the weekends, like last weekend there at the Superstore, Walmart, or even at Canadale's, to have handing out. The more we can keep the fire issues in the forefront, because a lot of people, it's hard for them to realize, oh, we didn't know that was out there. So it's just a thought. And I think that's about it. But I say I look forward to the Horton Market commercial kitchen opening as well.
Yes, excellent. Councillor Herbert.
Thank you, Worship. There's no debate from anybody on council. This is an excellent report for us to review and comment on. And it's great to see that our emergency services, the police and the fire are working hard to work with the community and getting involved and doing things for us. One thing I'd like to know from the police with the the officer put back into the schools, is that successful or not, or how do they feel? Or I'd like to see a comment on that. I don't know. I don't think there's anybody online. Maybe someone can comment on it, but I would be curious. Thank you.
Well, I can comment on it from the Community Safety and Wellbeing Committee that the our chief and Elmer and OPP do sit on. And Mark Roskamp has been quite vocal about wanting it to return. He's quite pleased with its current return and that we're now starting to see interaction between students and the police officers in the school again. So I'm not sure it's been back long enough for us to be saying, yay, it's a huge success, but it's a success, the fact that it's back, we're back in the schools. And so that's the point that I think I'll make on behalf of the police chief. Councillor
Just to
Herbert.
follow up, thank you. I wonder if there would be any comments from the students, because remember that was the big issue. Some of the students felt intimidated with the police being there. So I don't know who could supply that information. I guess it's over time, maybe a quick survey of the students to see if they're still out there, that they're in trouble. So.
Well, Councillor Gibson and I sit on the Police Services Board, and we'll mention that at this week coming meeting, that perhaps that's the type of information we'll also like for council. But if it's good for council, it's good for the public to hear about it too. So, great. Councillor Baldwin-Sands, did I see a hand? No? Okay, sorry. Further questions or comments on this? Taylor, anything? You wrote the report. You always do a great job writing the report, and then we don't let you talk about it.
No, thank you. I have a bunch of notes here, but really, I just wanted to say that this month's update reports like a really steady and coordinated progress towards the outcomes that are outlined in priority number 1, which are safer community, improved access to supports and services, and stronger participation in local programs and activities that improve quality of life for everyone in St. Thomas. So like you said, between police services and fire and the work that they're doing. And then we have a mix of different departments throughout the action items in this plan that are outlined in the report there. So happy to receive comments and feedback from council, but lots of positive remarks in this report once again. So thank you.
All right, I'm going to do the litmus test. Councillor Wucke, you are always fairly vocal about when we wrote our strategic plan that we didn't just leave it sit there and get dusty on a shelf. This is the epitome of what a strategic plan follow-up should be, is every month we're taking 2 or 3 pieces of our strategic plan and moving it forward. I just want to make sure I have your approval.
Thanks, Your Worship. Every time I see something like this, it validates what we're doing with the strategic plan, and it saves me from my own cynicism. So I'd like to thank Taylor for that.
Perfect. Further questions or comments on the Brighter Futures part of our strategic plan on public safety? Seeing none, all in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. Next item.
Thank you, Your Worship. Next item is a report, St. Thomas Elgin 10-year Housing and Homelessness Plan MMAH submission. There's a motion that reads that report SESS 0826 relating to the St. Thomas Elgin 10-year Housing and Homelessness Plan be received for information. Moved by Councilor Remmel, seconded Councilor Herbert.
All right. As you know, we've seen the 10-year plan a couple of times in the last couple of months or a couple of meetings. One was the last 10-year plan and how we had ramped up and finished that off. And then the draft plan of the new 10-year strategic plan came to council. A few comments came back and even from the public. And now that's what this part is. Now it's a 10-year written plan going to the ministry. Each community has to do this, but we feel pretty comfortable we're on a pretty good path on it. So questions and comments? Councillor Baldwin-Sands.
Thank you. I really appreciate this report and appreciate the direction that has been given to us. I found a couple of pieces that were missing for me, and that is working together and how we have been working together for long-term housing solutions for our seniors. And one of the other pieces that I found missing was the conversations that we've had around this table several times in regards to food security, especially in helping to prevent homelessness, because people having to make the choice of purchasing groceries or paying their rent is becoming more and more evident as the affordability gap that was identified on page 5 of this report becomes even greater. And I want to thank the author of the report for making sure that we knew that item was in there and brought it to our attention, and continue to thank all of the city staff on how they've been able to move these initiatives forward. Thank you.
Brendan, I know you've been carrying the ball on most of this, but I sure would like to give you a chance to just to speak about the report in general and the satisfaction of having it to the point where we can now send it on to the minister. So I'm asking you to be my guest speaker tonight. You should see he sits in there and just works on this stuff all day.
Thanks, Your Worship. Yes, there's a lot of folks that contributed to this plan, and it is for information that we're sending it now to the ministry for their mandatory review, and then hopefully we'll be back to council with an approval. Just to briefly address the councilor's points, we did add something into this final version. So in the lead collaboratively section, there is an action number 44 that we've put in there, and thanks for that feedback. So that does read, work collaboratively to strengthen the connection between housing stability and food security, adequate income, and transportation. Because we also heard about transit too and the connection with housing. So we've got something in there. We appreciate your feedback and council's feedback and support on this for sure.
Well, as we know, our 10-year housing plans are like an integral part of our strategic plan, because our strategic plan refers to it. So I know that this group will also get to, at some point in the future, set benchmarks as to where we are from the homelessness and the 10-year homelessness and housing plan. So, Councillor Herbert.
Thank you, Worship. If you went to the second part of what was printed, I looked at the summary, and I think this is perfect for me, because it says the 10-year plan lays an integrated, achievable approach to support people with low to moderate income in St. Thomas and Elgin County. If you're looking for a definition of affordable housing, I was taught a long time ago, it's 4 words: what you can afford. And that's what you're saying in that summary, what you can afford. And you're looking at people for those type of income properties. So I appreciated that summary. It was well written. So thank you.
Councillor Reimel.
Just that it's an excellent report, and it's very hard when you're trying to look at this stuff to actually pinpoint numbers. So when you put numbers in, then tomorrow they could actually change. So it's, at least you've got a line drawn there, and then you've got something to go, but it is certainly a continuous quality improvement piece.
Great.
Yeah, thanks, Your Worship. I was just going to mention
A flourish at the end.
I was just going to mention in response to that we are kind of keeping on track, and we are capitalizing on what has been done in this community and moving forward. But that is one of the newer things we have in this plan, where we have some numerical targets. And we do have an implementation plan to track it, and we know kind of what's in the pipeline and what to shoot for. That just gives us that extra element of looking to achieve. It's not all about numbers, of course. It's housing for everyone, but this gives us something for our goals to shoot for.
Great. Further questions on the 10-year housing and homelessness plan? Seeing none, all those in favor? Are there any opposed? Carried. Great work.
Your Worship, next item, proposed official plan and zoning bylaw amendments and deeming bylaw application. This applies to 358 Elm Street and 4 Morrison Drive. Motion before us that reads that report PD 3426 relating to proposed official plan and zoning bylaw amendments and deeming bylaw application 358 Elm Street and 4 Morrison Drive be received for information. And further, that a public meeting be scheduled for June 8th, 2026 in accordance with regulation 54306 and 54506 as amended. Moved by Councillor Reimel, seconded Councillor Taylor.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? Carried.
Your Worship, we have two information pieces tonight. Two notices. First one is Committee of Adjustment, minor variance, 9 Princess Ave. Notice of public meeting to take place by Zoom on May 28, 2026 at 10 a.m. has been received from the Committee of Adjustment regarding an application for minor variance by Andy Larigos to permit an enlargement or extension of the existing legal nonconforming building being a covered patio at Legends Tavern, 9 Princess Ave. The second item is a Committee of Adjustment consent, 10 Highbury Avenue and 420 South Edgware Road. Notice of a public meeting to take place by Zoom on May 28th, 2026 at 10 a.m. has been received from the Committee of Adjustment regarding an application for consent by MSSF Acquisitions Incorporated for the purpose of creating a mutual easement between 10 Highbury Avenue and 420 South Edgware Road for servicing purposes. We'll move on to the Community Engagement and Services Committee. First order of business is a report YMCA Aquatics Partnership Update and Amendment. Motion that reads Report PR 1226 relating to the YMCA Aquatics Partnership Update and Amendment be received for information. And further that Council approve Amendment Number 1 to the Memorandum of Understanding between the City of St. Thomas and the Family YMCA of St. Thomas Elgin as attached to Report PR 1226. And further that Council approve an additional $63,000 to support the continuation of the YMCA Aquatics Partnership through the remainder of 2026. Moved by Councillor Baldwin-Sands, seconded by Councillor Taylor.
Questions or comments on the report? Councillor Baldwin-Sands, then Councillor Taylor.
Thank you very much. I fully support moving forward with this because this is helping us build capacity for aquatics programming in our community. I am very grateful to see some of the information that is in this report. The affordability of membership has always been brought into question when it comes to people wanting to partake in regularly attending the programming, and having the alternative of supported 10 pass cards and the other programming that they have made available for the citizens of the City of St. Thomas has been very, very welcome by citizens. I was talking to Adrian just prior to council and stating that how people from the public are reaching out to me with a private message on Facebook to say how grateful they are to the city for allowing this programming to happen. And I believe the attendance is moving up because more people are attending that were orphaned by the hospital closure. And I was hoping if there were any other points that would like to be added by our city staff, I would request that they do so. Thank you.
Through Mayor Preston to council. So something recently that we've done is add those swim-able spots. So we did have a parent that reached out to us and they were looking for a private-based lesson, as kids with exceptionalities can't often go into group lessons. So that's something recently we've added. We've added 6 spots this past for the winter 2026 session. We did have 2 kids that use that spot. So that's really great that people are utilizing it, and hopefully we get more kids able to use that.
Great reaching out that way. I know that Central Elgin has kind of also joined us in this. Many people were, calling us and saying, I don't live in St. Thomas, can I still get the same discount? We recommended that they call their own mayor. And it seems to have worked, because does anybody know what the piece is, whether there's a lot of increase at Central Elgin users also? I know we don't track it, but perhaps as part of a total package next time, we could also get some of that. Councillor Baldwin-Sands?
Thank you. I would ask the question then too, what are they doing to advertise, to promote this type of relationship and the partnership and programming with the YMCA that also has allowed the numbers to jump? Hopefully we can get some comments as well.
Thank you, Laurie Baldwin-Sands. We have connected with the communications department to put this message out on social media, and I believe that the mayor might have done some advertising himself too with the Y.
Not as near as good as Councillor Wookey.
Councillor Wookey, yes. So we've had a lot of engagement through the social media posts and on the website.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Letting people know what is available, what price it knocked down in order to make it more affordable, but also to show the facilities that are available at the YMCA too. Councillor Baldwin-Sands, anything further? Councillor Taylor, then Councillor Herbert.
Thank you, Your Worship. I fully support this for sure, but I just want to clarify the $63,000 that is being requested. Was that a budgeted item? And if not, where are we pulling this from? Just for my information, for the public as well. We're asking for another $63,000 here. Just where and how does this affect us? That's my question. Thank you.
Mr. Treasurer, do you want to help us with that? I know it was a kind of we don't know what the uptake this will be in the first year of its use, and we've pleasantly surprised that we've used a little more than we thought we would, but we need to know where it might come from.
Thank you, Your Worship. It's an unbudgeted 63,000, so we would add it together with all the other surplus deficits that the city may incur throughout the year and fund it at council's direction through a year-end report.
And would then next year's budget be based on us knowing what this year's and last year's expenditure was?
The report does indicate that they will be requesting the additional 63,000 in the 2027 budget. That would equate to about a 0.07% tax increase for 2027.
Okay. Did that answer your question well enough, Councillor Taylor? Great. Excellent. Councillor Herbert.
Thank you, Worship. We kind of touched on it briefly. We talked about St. Thomas residents and, sorry, and Central Elgin. Are there any residents from London coming to get involved? Are they allowed to come if they want to apply?
And anyone can visit any YMCA at any time that they would like.
Okay.
The special price
Yes.
is for someone who can show an address in St. Thomas.
So would we take a ledger of who's coming so we know maybe there's most of it's from St. Thomas and area, not 200 people from London?
Well, there could be 200 people from London, but only the YMCA would know where they were from.
Yeah, okay.
And they're paying full price to be there. But the better rate for swimming lessons for Family Swim and for Aquafit that we supply to our residents, the YMCA tracks, and that's what this report is showing you.
There's no question I supported it, Adrian, 110%. I mean, I'm just curious to see if we are getting other people from other areas. So thank you. Good program.
All right. Further questions? Seeing none. Adrian, anything more from you or your staff on this? This is quite a good success after 1 year.
Yes, thank you, Worship. We are excited to be able to continue this program, and we think that, it's a vital part of the community right now, and it's fitting a need. And so we can use this as we look towards our future in recreation as we go down the road.
Yes, excellent. Further questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? Carried.
Next item, Your Worship, is under Infrastructure and Civic Operations. There are two items under this committee. The first is 2026 Canada Day Celebration and Summer Day Camps, request for animal control bylaw exemption. There's a motion that reads that report ES 2326 relating to the 2026 Canada Day Celebration and Summer Day Camps, request for animal control bylaw exemption be received for information. And further that, a temporary exemption from section 6.1 of the Animal Control Bylaw 71-2011 be granted to the Canada Day Celebration event organizers to permit a petting zoo at the July 1st, 2026 event in Password Park. And further that, a temporary exemption from section 6.1 of the Animal Control Bylaw 71-2011 be granted to the St. Thomas Parks and Recreation Department to permit a petting zoo as part of summer day camps on July 15th and August 12th, 2026 in Pinafore Park. Moved by Councillor Kohler, seconded by Councillor Gibson.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? Carried.
Next item, Your Worship, is item Pollution Control Plant LISTIC contract extension. A motion that reads report ES 2126 relating to Pollution Control Plant LISTIC contract extension be received for information. And further that council approve the sole source contract extension for the marketing, sale, hauling coordination, and application of LISTIC grow material to LISTIC International Group for an additional 5-year term. And further that council direct a bylaw be prepared to authorize the mayor and clerk to execute the contract extension with LISTIC International Group. Moved by Councillor Raimel, seconded. Councillor Herbert.
Questions or comments? Councillor Wookie?
Thanks, Your Worship. Two things for Kevin, I guess, talking about this. Number one, can you explain to us about the sole sourcing? Because of course we don't like to sole source, but there's sometimes reasons for that. And secondly, just in kind of kitchen English, what's this about for people? Everyone's always interested. What are we doing down on Sunset to, you know, what's going on, blah, 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 blah. So like, I think this is a great way to deal with things, but just explain to us what's going on here and what are they using it for, where it's come from, and all that kind of stuff. So, but the sole sourcing thing is the more pressing thing.
Mr. Dealerbeck, what's going on here?
So through the mayor to Councillor Wookie, a sole source is when there are no other service providers that provide that service. Whereas a single source is there are other service providers that could provide the service, but for reasons that we want to single source it. So that's the key difference between single source and sole source. What's going on here is that the byproduct of everybody ends up at Sunset plant and is converted to a certified fertilizer that is then used as part of sustainable development or sustainability in the surrounding farmers' fields. And so Liz Tech is able to coordinate land application with farmers. And so we have created nearly 75,000 cubic meters of fertilizer since we introduced the system in 2016. So a huge environmental stewardship success by implementing this. And I might add that the same technology is being utilized at our new facility at Dalewood.
Super. Councillor Kohler?
Thanks. I think it's important to note that even though it's a single source, it's still revenue generating for us here too. So that's, I think, important to note, and obviously a good reason to continue to go with this company.
Yeah. Kevin, can I ask, in years past, I know this has been happening for a few years, we used to have to pay to get rid of this material or find a different way to get rid of it. Am I correct? And now we have someone paying us to take it from us?
Through the mayor to council, that's correct. Typically, in some other facilities, the sludge is simply reduced to a cake and then taken to a landfill for disposal. So you would be paying those landfill disposal fees. And so the one thing of this is that while we do receive revenue for the fertilizer that we do create from this product, it still is a cost to the city because of all the coordination and the technology and to operate the system and everything like that. But it's a real environmental win.
Super. Further questions or comments? Councillor Herbert.
Thank you. Just following up on Councillor Wookie's comments, I always interested when there's only one person, but so when there's only one group applying, you have a criteria they have to meet. They have to answer a lot of questions and meet all the needs because it's a 5-year contract. If something happened after 2 years you weren't happy with, are you locked in for 5 years too? I mean, I understand right now you're telling us they're the only ones that do that, but they still have to meet a certain criteria, don't they?
Mr. Dealer?
Through the mayor to Councillor Herbert, back in 2015 when the system was initially procured, that's where all those requirements were set out in terms of what we wanted to achieve. And this was the only company that was able to satisfy those pieces. And so from that initial contract was for 5 years. It has been renewed for 1 5-year term. And I'm here before you to ask to continue that relationship with another 5-year renewal.
Further questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? Carried.
Next item, Your Worship, falls under the Committee for Corporate Governance and Administration. That's an information item regarding unfinished business of council, May 11, 2026. This is a memorandum from the city manager relating to unfinished business. At this time, council will now reconvene into regular session. This is the report of the Committee of the Whole. Motion to read that the recommendations, directions, and actions of council in Committee of the Whole as recorded in the minutes of this date be confirmed, ratified, and adopted. Moved by Councillor Remmel, seconded by Councillor Gibson.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Are there any opposed? That's carried.
Thank you, Your Worship. Under Communications, we have two items. First item is St. Thomas Chamber Block Party, June 19, 2026, municipally significant event request. So a letter has been received from Paul Jenkins, CEO of the St. Thomas and District Chamber of Commerce, requesting that the St. Thomas Chamber Block Party be held at Westlake Evans Park on June 19, 2026, be declared a municipally significant event. The motion would read that the Council of the City of St. Thomas declare the St. Thomas Chamber Block Party event proposed for June 19, 2026 at Westlake Evans Park, a municipally significant event. Moved by Councillor Herbert, seconded by Councillor Taylor.
Questions or comments? I have one. You know that the mayor's been a little weird about getting the two signs cut down in Westlake Evans Park. Since we're going to use that beautiful park and the street along Curtis as a block party, even if they're temporarily removed, can we remove the signs? Thank you. I win. No. Further questions? Did I see a hand? No? Okay. Then all in favor? Any opposed? Carried.
Thank you, Your Worship. Second item tonight under Communications is an end-of-term report from the Ombudsman. Notice has been received from the Office of the Ombudsman of Ontario that a decade of promoting fairness, expanding access, impact, and value. The end-of-term report is available on their website. This is provided for information. I move on to unfinished business. Seeing one item.
Councillor Reimel? You're going to go to new business? You want unfinished?
I was just going to go back to Communications.
Okay.
And well, maybe it is new business. Anyway, just that we attended a collaboration with the Thames Valley District School Board on Friday, which was excellent. And it's just, they were so open to collaboration and partnerships, which is really something new to hear,
Yes.
You know, from previous Thames Valley School Board meetings. So it was really wonderful. And they are looking at a new site to have more room for the activities that, you know, like say football field, which is really enhances the students, you know, wanting to go to that school. And what I found was really encouraging that the school will still have a tech emphasis, you know, looking at perhaps auto body, hairdressing, healthcare, some of those kind of options. They want to consult with the employers in the area to see, you know, what kind of skill set they want to see at the school. But it's just so awesome for students to be able to have that skill set exposure during secondary school before they have to commit financially to, you know, a college. So it's really a great option. And one of the things when they're talking about partnerships and collaboration, that in some of the schools, they've had something where the gym has received an upgrade to the flooring, or they had actually an additional gym with some municipal dollars. And because of that, then the municipality gets to use the gym on off hours, you know, so it's just, they're really open to any collaborations or partnerships. You know, perhaps there's a Arthur Bowden alumni that would like to contribute some financial dollars to have some kind of specific thing at the new school. So it's really was exciting news, and they're really looking to engage the public and look at partnerships. So it was really awesome.
I'm glad to hear you found an improvement in our collaboration with the Thames Valley District School Board. Councillor Baldwin-Sands.
I may defer to Councillor Gibson, who did the majority of the presentation from the city, to the session that I attended as well with the Thames Valley District School Board. But noting what Councillor Reimel has pointed out, I bring back the presentation done by Taylor Mooney, and it's 3.3, the Parks and Recreation Master Plan, that maybe we better do a little bit of fine tuning, a little bit of adjusting with that. It was talked about the funding formula, yes, but maybe I didn't see it in the actual presentation about federal funding that could be available with a joint venture, or OSIF funding that could be available with a joint venture. We talked not just about a community-based programming out of there, but we did talk about the aquatics facility as well. We touched on that. So I would like to see in the report that was presented to us earlier to include some of those pieces as well. And in it, they also identified what's happening at one of the other municipalities, and that is the Municipal Education Sport Community Development that's being done in cooperation with Thames Valley at one of the other municipalities. So I'd like to keep an eye on that and keep looking and making sure that we stay with our hand and fingers on the pulse of what's happening in other municipalities as they too are looking at developing sport and recreation facilities and the partnerships with Thames Valley District School Board. And I would like to hear if Councillor Gibson has anything she would like to add.
Councillor Gibson?
Thank you, Councillor. Yes, I found that they were very open to the collaboration, just as Councillor Rima was mentioning. They were very forward in listening to us. Like, I was really surprised. I've been to some of their meetings a couple of years, you know, and it's been horrible sitting there. It was
Tell us how you really
yeah,
feel.
let me, yeah, but you know, I had a great little chat with Mr. Tucker. I like Mr. Tucker. I call him Mr. Tucker because my kids had him for a teacher in school and a principal, but I suggested that they come back after the election and give an update to any new counselors that are coming on board, if there's any new coming on board, that they too will get that same information, and by then maybe they will know more of what they are really looking for from us, and they are really looking at collaborating with us, the municipalities able to use their facilities and doing a collaboration of, as Lori, Councillor Baldwin Sands was saying, doing some more work with the community to make sure that they don't sit idle in the evening, because an empty barn falls faster than one being used. Thank you.
It's a shame if we're looking for gym space and there's empty ones sitting out there. Happy to hear them talking about working with us, whether it's gym space or whatever else. Also, thank you for covering for me at that meeting, Councillor Gibson's and the rest of you that attended. A lot of daycare news came out in the last little while from them also, so we're quite anxious to hear what the completion of that might look like. Councillor Wookie and then Councillor Baldwin Sands.
Thanks, Your Worship. To dovetail onto that, I was having some conversations with some of my colleagues who are both still in the system and retired. And we started thinking, you know, wouldn't it be great if, like, because we need a theater or we need someplace, wouldn't it be great if we could help a school build a theater, then like you say, we use it, like they use it, but then we use it. And I know that for schools, it's really nice to have a theater assigned seating, because you know, anytime you want to do something in a gym, it's taking out 1,000 chairs, it's putting them away, it kills the floor, it does, you know what I mean? The acoustics aren't good, all that kind of stuff. So wouldn't it be wonderful if we could provide some capital to them and then they build it on that site? That's just one thing. And number two, I just want to give a shout out, like you said, Councillor Gibson, to Bill Tucker. Like, I know Bill's retired. Right. You know, of all the people, like, everyone loves Bill because he's great. And if we could just find a way to clone Bill, and I know he wants to retire again, but if we could clone him, that's what we're looking for in a director. But it's anything that, in my experience, that Bill Tucker's been involved with is invariably positive. So thank you.
Councillor Baldwin Sands.
Thank you. I have two more items for communications. If you want me to wait till new business, I will.
You can go now. I'm kind of figuring we're in all of there.
Thank you so very much. I noticed on our social media post today that the library has restarted doing some outside programming, and I noticed our director from the library is here, and I was hoping that he would be able to provide some comments. And then I have a second item. Thank you.
Come on up, brag on your library a little bit, and tell us how far along the rest of the construction is.
Thank you, Your Worship, to Council. Thank you, Councillor Baldwin Sands. Yeah, we've got a lot going on, to the point where I don't even know specifically which item you saw online, but there's loads happening. I'm actually working on a report with Adrian about some of the partnership and the outdoor activity that is coming up over the summer. With our outreach van, we're doing lots of park activations. We're increasing the number of housing sites that we're visiting as well over the summer, all with the goal of kind of increasing engagement with not just our summer reading club, but just literacy in general and connections and community connections throughout the entire city, rather than just at our downtown location. So you can look forward to a little more detailed report about that coming soon, hopefully. And then in terms of the construction, that's also on the horizon, finally, after a very cold winter
Yes.
and delays on pouring concrete, we can finally say that the plants are in, the mulch is down. We're waiting for some electrical work to be done. And we're looking at hopefully doing a ribbon cutting and opening of that new entrance to the library on June 20th, which is a Saturday. So anybody who's able to come out is, of course, welcome to help us celebrate.
Excellent. More?
Second item was something that was announced today again on our social media in regards to what happened at Waterworks Park in the Frisbee Golf. And there were 300 trees planted. So I was hoping they could give us an update on that as well. Thank you.
A lot of trees planted on the periphery of the disc golf course.
Yes, thank you, Councilor Baldwin Sands. Staff actually planted, along with help from the St. Thomas Disc Golf Sports Club, 800 seedlings. We were able to purchase them through the KCCA Conservation Authority and plant them throughout the Waterworks Disc Golf Park. This was an area that was identified by staff as an area that we had to remove a number of dead or diseased trees. So it was noted as a need to replant that space. So good news story for us.
I know disc golf is slightly different than the golf that the rest of the guys play, but adding 800 trees to a golf course may not be something that they're quite positive about. But thank you for doing it. It's great to see the species we're using and how many we're doing at once. And thank you to KCCA for their help in helping us do this too. Further other communications, I have one. This afternoon, I attended the funeral for Cliff Barwick, former Mayor Barwick, and you know, a lot of great memories with the former mayor and some advice he gave to a very young politician. I wasn't young; I was just new at the game at the time, and really set me on the path to become a member of Parliament. And Cliff was good that way, but. You know, I think it was said today at the service for Cliff, you didn't always have to ask. He's going to give you advice anyway. And I think I shared with some of his family today. Sometimes you'd be in a room with Cliff and you'd both be talking the whole time you're in there. You wonder who was supposed to be listening. But thank you, former Mayor Barwick, for your service to this community and the great work you did for St. Thomas to move us to where we are today. And thank you for passing the torch on to others. And we'll continue to do it in your memory too. So thank you for just the memory of Cliff Barwick. I'm done.
Thank you, Your Worship. We have covered other business and new business. We have no public notices tonight, no notices of motion. We'll be moving into a closed session. Motion that reads that this meeting be closed to deal with the position, plan, procedure, criteria, or instruction to be applied to any negotiations carried on or to be carried on by or on behalf of the municipality and a personal matter about an identifiable individual. 5:42 p.m. Moved by Councillor Baldwin Sands, seconded by Councillor Gibson.
As normal, I'll say to our crowd in the gallery and for those watching at home, we'll be going into closed session now. We'll rise from closed session to finish what work we got done in closed session and finish the rest of our bylaws tonight before we adjourn. But just to let you know, that's what we'll do now. We'll move into closed session. All in favor? Any opposed? Carried.
Your Worship, to move into open session, there's a motion on the floor that council do now rise from closed session, 6:12 p.m. Moved by Councillor Taylor, seconded Councillor Reimel.
Questions or comments on moving into open session? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried.
Your Worship, will now move into the bylaws. Motion on the floor that leave be granted to bring in the bylaws. Moved by Councillor Reimel, seconded Councillor Baldwin Sands.
Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? Carried.
Your Worship, we have a motion on the floor moved by Councillor Reimel. Seconded by Councillor Baldwin Sands that the bylaws be now read a first time, referred to council and the committee of the whole, and read a second time.
Seeing none, all those in favor? Are there any opposed? That is carried.
Your first bylaws.
First bylaw tonight is a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the council meeting held on the 11th day of May, 2026.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Next bylaw, please.
The second bylaw is a bylaw to authorize the mayor and clerk to execute and affix the seal of the corporation to a certain agreement between the corporation of the city of St. Thomas, Nathan Nakato, Yuchi Nakato. This is regarding a residential loan agreement for the Community Improvement Plan, file number 2026-159-46 Princess Avenue.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Next bylaw.
Third bylaw tonight is a bylaw to authorize the mayor and clerk to execute and affix the seal of the corporation to a certain agreement between the corporation of the city of St. Thomas, Brittany Dunlop, and Stephen Rubaka. This is a grant acknowledgement agreement for the Community Improvement Plan, file number 2025-152. This is 105 Metcalf Street.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Next bylaw, please.
Fourth bylaw tonight is a bylaw to amend bylaw number 50-88, being the zoning bylaw for the city of St. Thomas. This is to allow for the playing of bingo and accessory uses in addition to a range of uses already permitted on the subject lands. The subject lands are 115 Edward Street. This is Bingo Country Holdings Limited, file number 20626.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Next bylaw, please.
Fifth bylaw is a bylaw to authorize the mayor and clerk to execute and affix the seal of the corporation to a certain agreement between the corporation of the city of St. Thomas and the YWCA St. Thomas Elgin. This is an access and maintenance easement on Hiawatha Street, Part 3.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Next bylaw, please.
The sixth bylaw is a bylaw to authorize the mayor and clerk to execute and affix the seal of the corporation to a certain agreement between the corporation of the city of St. Thomas and the YWCA St. Thomas Elgin, again, access and maintenance easement on Hiawatha Streets, parts 4, 5, and 6.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Next bylaw.
The seventh and final bylaw this evening is a bylaw to appoint a city clerk.
Questions or
What were we using before this?
questions or comments? Your worship? Okay. Seeing none. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Your worship, we have a motion on the floor, moved by Councillor Reimel, seconded by Councillor Baldwin-Sands, that the report of council and the committee of the whole on the following bylaws be received and adopted, the same be read a third time engrossed, signed by the mayor and clerk, sealed and numbered.
Are there any questions or comments? Seeing none, all in favor? Any opposed? Carried. Thank you, Councillor Gibson.
I rise and report the successful full passing of the 7 bylaws.
Great.
Your worship, the final motion tonight is in regards to adjournment, that we do now adjourn at 6:16 p.m. Moved by Councillor Baldwin-Sands, seconded by Councillor Gibson.
I just want to stay longer, so I'm not going to ask the question. No. Further comments or questions? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? Carried.